All right, let's talk about projects. There's a razor thin line between a project that's a huge success and one that's just pure chaos. Today, we're going to get into the single biggest reason projects fail, and more importantly, how you can sidestep that disaster. Let's get right into it.
So let me ask you this. Have you ever been there? You're on a project, it's got a great plan, an awesome team. Everything's looking up. And then you just watch as it slowly, painfully falls apart. And you can't even figure out why.
Oh, you know the signs, right? Endless scope changes just pop up out of nowhere. A department you thought was your ally suddenly throws up a huge wall. Approvals, yeah, they're just stuck. Somewhere. And before you know it, the budget's blown, the deadline's a distant memory, and the final product, well, nobody even wants to use it. It is so frustrating. But here's the thing. These are all just symptoms of a much bigger hidden problem. So what is the root cause here? What's the real issue? Well, it's this hidden danger that most project plans totally gloss over. And get this, it has almost nothing to do with your technology or your timeline. The culprit? 9 times out of 10, it's mismanaged stakeholders. Yep, it's the people, the human element that we so often forget about when we're racing to hit a deadline. And this quote just nails it, doesn't it? A project's success or failure, it's not just about the tech or the budget. It all comes down to how well you identify, understand, and actually engage with the people involved. That's the secret sauce right there. Okay, so if stakeholders are that important, we better be super clear on who they actually are. So what exactly is a stakeholder? Think of it this way. A stakeholder is basically anyone with skin in the game. Anyone who has an interest in your project, is affected by it, or, and this is the big one, can influence its outcome. They can be your project's biggest cheerleader or its worst nightmare. Generally, you can split them into 2 big groups. First, you've got your internal stakeholders. These are the folks inside your organization, your project sponsor, your own team, heads of other departments like HR or legal. Then you've got the external stakeholders. These are the people outside your company, your clients, customers, vendors, maybe even government regulators. And you absolutely need a game plan for both. So how in the world do you manage this, complicated web of people? Well, you don't just write down a list of names and cross your fingers. No, you need a strategy, a playbook. And lucky for us, there's a fantastic tool that makes it all possible. It's called the Power Interest Matrix. And honestly, it is the most powerful tool for sorting all of this out. It's super simple, it's visual, and it gives you some seriously valuable insights. So here's the breakdown. The matrix has 2 axes. On one side, you've got power. How much influence can this person have on the project? On the other, you've got interest. How much do they actually care about it? And by mapping your stakeholders into one of these 4 boxes, bam, you get a clear, actionable strategy for every single one of them. Let's start with the top right corner, high power and high interest. Think of your project sponsor or a major customer. These are the people you need to manage closely. Your goal? Turn them into project champions. You need them fully engaged and on your side because, honestly, their success is your success. Okay, now for high power but low interest. This is someone like the CFO or the head of the legal department. They've got the power to shut your project down with 1 email, but they're not in the weeds with you every day. Your strategy here is simple. Keep them satisfied. Give them the key info they need to feel good about the project, but don't drown them in details they don't care about. Now, down in the bottom right, this is a group that gets forgotten way too often. Low power, but high interest. We're talking about your end users, the operational staff, the people who will actually use what you're building. They might not sign the checks, but their buy-in is absolutely critical for adoption. So for them, the strategy is keep them informed. And finally, the last box, low power and low interest. These might be other departments that are only tangentially related. The strategy here is super simple. Monitor. It's minimal effort. You're just keeping an eye on them in case their position changes down the road. All right, so you've mapped everyone out on the matrix. That's awesome. But insight without action is, well, it's pretty useless. So now let's talk about how to turn this analysis into a real, concrete plan of action. It really comes down to a simple 3-step process. 1, analyze. Put everyone on the matrix. 2, plan. Create a custom engagement strategy for each of those 4 quadrants. And 3, communicate. This is where you execute, delivering the right information to the right people at exactly the right time.
And what does that look like in the real world? It means you stop sending the same email to everybody. Your communication becomes tailored. Executives, they get a high-level dashboard once a month. Customers, they get a demo every 2 weeks. Your team, you're doing daily stand-ups. Regulators, they get the formal compliance reports they need. Everything is specific and has a purpose. When you get this right, it's a total game changer. You're not just a task manager anymore. You're not just tracking a schedule. You're actually mastering the human puzzle that's at the core of every single project. And the difference is it's night and day. Without this kind of analysis, you get scope creep, political battles, and a product that flops. With it, you get early risk detection, aligned executives, and strong user adoption. The choice is pretty clear, right? Look, this is not just another administrative task to check off a list. Managing stakeholders is not busy work. It is a core, fundamental responsibility of being a leader. So as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with one question to take to your next project. Just ask yourself this: whose expectations have I forgotten to manage? Because the answer to that question, it might just be the key to everything.